What is going on, guys? With these videos that I'm gonna start doing more so, not gonna have much not to have a whole lot of editing going on. Just wanna sit and talk with you guys about some real stuff. Um I've been seeing a lot the past few years online in regards, especially on like YouTube, in regards to like manifestation and stuff like that. And a friend of mine had posted about whether they thought it was good or bad, and the ins and outs of that. um in regards to a lot of things, in regards to my relationship and my walk with Christ. So I follow Christ, of course. I do it to the best of my ability. I'm not perfect, but I am progressing. And I would notice that there would be times where people would be talking or discussing something in regards to the Bible, and they're like, is this wrong, or technically is this not, is this a sin, things like that. And it would be a lot of times where everybody's kind of caught up arguing about a loophole or some sort of technicality that they figured out. Somebody mentioned something about tattoos, and somebody brought up a scripture where it was saying something to the extent of not to put any markings on your body in reference to the dead. And so they took it as, well, as long as I'm not referencing someone that's dead, I should be okay. And I always come back to this. We should live in love and not in loopholes. Um, I always think about it in a sense of, me and my wife were married. And if there's a guy that she interacts with, there's nothing wrong with her interacting with somebody that happens to be a guy. There are going to be people that I may interact with that may be women, but what you're doing in those interactions is very important. And if she's interacting with somebody and it's inappropriate, but it's technically not cheating, or it's technically, you know, not wrong, but it may be inappropriate or something like that, that can be a problem for some people. And so I may have a problem with her interacting with somebody in a certain way. And if I communicate that to her and let her know, hey, that's an issue, and do try not to let that happen. And that's something that she continues to do, because technically, and if you think about it, I'm not technically cheating. That's not love. If I do the same thing and I'm out here, having conversations with young ladies, and I'm not cheating, I'm not doing anything, crazy, but the way I'm interacting could be inappropriate. The time in which I'm interacting, the methods and when that I choose to interact, um, some of those things could be inappropriate. And when my wife comes to me and communicates that to me, I hit her with a technicality. Well, technically, well, if you think about it, and eventually that's not going to feel like love. It's going to feel like I'm operating on a loophole. It's going to feel like I got a contract and I found some special clause, or I found a loophole, some technicality that I'm able to kind of find some wiggle room in. You want to be locked in with somebody that's not looking for wiggle room. You want to be locked in with somebody that's going to just be looking to express that love to you and showcase that love, and not the entire time scuffling and shuffling around looking for wiggle room. And a lot of us who are in Christ find ourselves looking for wiggle room. We're looking for what can I get away with technically, and if you think about it, and that's not the way it should be. We're talking about manifestation, and it looks like it's basically like a form of like praying and supplicating about something, and really keying in and focusing on whatever that is. Maybe having some sort of daily routine that kind of centers around meditating on whatever that is and doing your best to pray, meditate, focus in on that, uh, maybe do some affirmations around that in hopes that that comes to uh, manifestation. And for some people, it's worked. They've thought about something super specific and they've manifested it, and they manifested it, and all of it, and it comes true. And that can be dangerous. And so one of the reasons that it can be dangerous is because there's something that I always call real and right. And there are certain things that are available to us. There are some things that are out here in the open, that are out here in the world, they're able to be accessed. And the effects of these things are very much so real. But it isn't right. And so sometimes we as humans, we can get caught up on what's real and not necessarily what's right for us. And so with the manifestation, like I said, a lot of stuff is real. A lot of the results people are getting is real. And I'm not sure what all goes into it. If people are adding in certain rituals and things like that to go along with it, if they're burning or incense or some sage or some crystals involved. I'm not sure the full ins and out about it, but for the little bit that I've heard, it seems more so repetition and like follow these steps kind of a deal to achieve this goal. And that's not where you want to be. You want a real relationship with God. And so my experience with something like this wasn't necessarily manifestation, or if it was just a different form of it. Quick little story. I had a friend who was struggling with mental issues, and the mental issue that he was struggling with was the overstimulation of his dopamine sector of his brain. With the overstimulation of that sector, it caused schizophrenia and paranoia. I was looking to study and see what caused that overstimulation and how could you what natural ways could you alleviate that? Is it possible to be reversed or, handled and a bit more uh, nourished, or, just what remedies could we come up with that were a bit more natural and readily available besides medicine? Um, and so I was looking up stuff and videos on that, and I came across some videos that dealt with frequencies and sound waves. And there was a one particular video, it said something to the extent of um, treating the dopamine sector of the brain, and like it mentioned schizophrenia, it mentioned paranoia, it mentioned like a couple of those things. And it was saying it was like a 10-hour video, and it was saying it was like a healing properties or whatever, and like these I think it's called binary or something like that, notes or frequencies. And so it sounds as if you put on headphones and the note will come in one frequency, I believe, in one ear, and a different frequency and direction in another ear, if I'm not mistaken. And so I clicked the video, and there was a sound that was continuous. I think it gradually builds and changes slightly as the time goes on. It's a 10-hour video, but it started off and it sounded like that's how it sounded. Just this sort of sort of sound, and it was continuous. I had my headphones on and I was on my laptop just kind of searching, digging around, looking up little research, and I had the sound in my ear. But I noticed as I was listening to it, I want to say the back of my calves, my legs, I felt like this twitch that randomly came out of nowhere. There was no part of my body, no muscle twitching anywhere else. It just suddenly like this, and it was like a slow twitch. So it really grabbed my attention fast. So I took the headphones off and I looked like, what? So I turned the song off and I went to the comment section to see did anybody else experience the same thing. Whole time I'm not realizing that my I don't know what's the word I'm looking for, continence or of my stature, everything in my aura just sort of changed, and it became a bit more subdued, relaxed slash groggy kind of a aura. And I went in the comment section and was reading comments, and everybody was confirming the exact same thing. So it blew me away. So I turned it off and I'm closing the laptop, and something just gave me the urge to want to get up and go walk outside. And so I went ahead, I was praying the whole time because I was noticing a difference in how I felt. So I started praying and I went walking. It started to like softly rain outside. And I didn't have a jacket on, but I had no urgency to like run back home. I was just content just walking. And like I said, it wasn't pouring down hard, but it was like a really soft, consistent rain. And I remember talking with God, praying, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was happening, but I knew what I felt, and I knew it was odd. I knew that everything I felt was sort of sudden. And he asked me just plain as day. It was just, if you were able to obtain anything you wanted via frequencies and listening to frequencies, if you were able to attract or obtain whatever you wanted that way, would you serve me? And I said, he was basically asking me, like, would you do that or would you serve me? And I was like, I would serve you. And he asked me two more times in like different ways. I think he asked me about in regards to money, and I think he asked me again in regards to like at like personality and like physical attributes. And he was basically like, if you could have XYZ via tapping into frequencies, would you do that or would you serve me? And I said, I'll serve you. And I answered it the third time, I would serve you. The third time that I answered, whatever sort of groggy, tired, sort of mellow aura that I was in, I came out of it instantly. And I walked back home. And from that day, I knew that this thing is real. But I didn't have to tap into it real deep and go too far into it in order to find out. It was from my relationship with him, being able to just walk and talk with him. It's about relationship. That is what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Having that relationship with him, being able to be here on earth, see everything physical and tangible around you, and have a desire for something spiritual, and being able to tap into it and being able to converse with him and talk with him on a real day-to-day level. That's what it's about. You don't want to find yourself running around here looking for loopholes, because he can see you doing that, and that's not love. If a wife has to see her husband and he's constantly digging and scratching around trying to find a loophole that he can dance around in technically and not be in the wrong, it's not love. You want to be operating in love. You want to operate in what's right, not what's real. There's a lot of witchcraft and things like that out here that's real. It's a lot of things that we just simply have no knowledge on because we're too busy watching other things on TV, sports, following reality shows to even pay attention to. And when somebody brings it up, we have no patience for it. We're way too deep in this game now to to play to play dumb with the enemy now. And I always say, if I was the enemy and I see how people act nowadays, it would be perfect for the enemy because he can do what he wants, attack how he wants. And when somebody points out, hey, the enemy is attacking, everybody got a catchphrase for you as to why you're tripping, you bugging out. Here you go again, being judgmental. And so it's easy for him to lay low under the radar and never really be exposed, because as soon as somebody say something, we write them off and give him a go get out of jail free card every single time. Have a chance to expose him, and we choose to turn the light off and keep him hidden. And then we do it unknowingly. That's even better. That's even better. Can you imagine breaking into somebody's house and somebody points out, hey, there's a burglar in here, and everyone in the house refuses to believe that the burglar is there, even though you're clearly right there? So now you're just free to just kind of do what you want. I got no threats. I got no adversity. Somebody pointed me out and tried to expose me, and I'm still able to walk around and do exactly what I want. And now I can do it at my leisure. We are in a very thick part of this war, and everybody is looking for forms of escape. Escapism is taking us out of here. And so we gotta, and I'm even talking to myself here. I'm not talking at anybody. I'm talking to myself here. Just glad you guys are able to tag along. But this is a point in time where we gotta really get on our square and key in just a little bit more. Operate in love. It's not about religion. That's what everybody messes up at. Everybody thinks religion. They hear church and they think, I get my Bible, I read it 3 times a day, I pray 3 times a day, I sprinkle water, and I do a bow, and it's about relationship. Having that relationship with God where you're like, you know what? I'm struggling today, bro. That help you got, I could use some of that. Could you give me some of that? Could I have some? That'd be great. Just being real with him. I've had conversations with him and I'm just like, listen, bro. I came to the mall to buy some clothes, and these girls is walking around the mall. Hello. Your boy's struggling out here. And I'll just have to cut whatever I'm doing short, head on home. You know, it'll be times where situations, young ladies presenting themselves, talking to me, and it's just like, all right, bro. You know, and you just got to cut the conversation short. You know, just being real with God, letting them know where your strength, your weaknesses, where your temptations may be lying, areas where you may have thought about something, just being real with them. But that only comes from relationship, not religion. There's plenty of people out here that are religious and they have no love in their heart at all. No love. So the manifestation stuff, no. Don't fall in love with what's real. Get inclined to and get connected to what's right. Here's another short story. Well, actually, no, I'll share that on a different video. So that way I'm not just boring you guys to death. But just to sum up this video, connect to what's real. Connect to what is right, not what's real. Connect to what is right, not what is real. And I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.